Hi, welcome to Your Future, Your Finances. We have a great guest for you today. We're talking with Leann Rhodes, who is coming out with a book. She's a local author in Maryland. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. Always interested in books. I managed to put one together myself, so both the work of writing it and the work of promoting it we'll be talking about today.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and the book.
Okay, so born and raised in Maryland, 30 years old. I went to school to be a school teacher. I taught elementary school for 6 years and middle school for 1. And in between there, I kept maintaining my part-time job, was my direct sales business. And with my direct sales business, it started to just really blossom. And last year I was finishing my master's degree in elementary education. And I was really looking at the numbers and the money coming in, and I said, you know, I just want to take a year off and see where my direct sales business could take me. And it turned out to be a 6-figure salary.
Wow, fantastic.
And yeah,
Good for you.
Thanks. And then I was able to accomplish things like write my first book, which was always on my bucket list. I thought I'd do years down the road, and I did it in 6 months. So.
And the book's coming out. It's called Rise Up, Shine On.
Yeah. So It's an inspirational story for women who have endured any type of trials and tribulations in their life. It touches on mental abuse, it touches on physical abuse, it touches on sexual abuse, it touches on a lot of heartbreaks and letdowns, and how not to let your past define your future, that you can rise up and be anything you want to be in life. So it's a true story about my book growing up to women see me successful in the business now. They don't really realize that, you know, people all have a story. So I wanted to share my story so people could see that you can do anything you put your mind to.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And how do you, you're going at, looking into inspiring others, and how do they find you, and how do you find them?
So I was actually really lucky to have a really big following now with my business. I'm on the board of directors with the company, and I do a lot of teaching and empowering within the company. So I have a lot of followers that, you know, are super excited to read it. So that was a nice warm market to start with. So if they don't, you know, me on a personal level through there, then they can find me through designingthelifeyoulove.com. So that's my website where I put my blogs on. My book will be out July 4th on Amazon on, let's see, Create Space and Kindle versions, and it'll be on the Nook. So there's all types of different, you know, avenues they can purchase it online, and I'm hoping to have future speaking engagements for different types of groups and things locally around the area. So
yeah, all those sites you mentioned, writing a book is really different than it used to be. I guess anybody can do it.
They can, and you know, I always thought it had to be some big production and you had to be somebody really special to write a book. And seriously, anybody can do it. And I am super excited to share that message because so many people have stories.
Yeah.
And, you know, they just kind of put it on their bucket list thinking that it's too far-fetched of a dream, but it's actually a lot easier than people think it is to write a book.
To get it published. Now, writing a book, a lot of work. Tell us a little bit about that.
So, you know, if you have an idea of a story you want to write, obviously mine's nonfiction. People have fiction in different areas they want to write a story on. There's a couple avenues you could do. You could write it yourself and then go through self-publishing first, or you could do the route that I did. So I knew I had a great story, but I didn't necessarily think that I was as creative as I wanted to be with my words. So I hired a ghostwriter. So that could be an avenue for women or anybody who would like to write a book. You can hire a ghostwriter. Mine's Amy Brooks. She's amazing. She's local in Maryland. So that's her job. She used to be a school teacher too. And so now she writes stories for people. And so we worked one-on-one. We just talked every week about what we wanted the next chapter to look like. We shared ideas, and she would write it. She'd share it with me. I'm like, yep, I like this. Let's tweak this. And we just worked together as a great partnership. So, you know, you can have a book written in 3 to 5 months if you go the ghostwriter route. And then I hired a publishing service. So at that point, I'm like, great, I'm going to have this manuscript, but what do I do with it now? Yeah. So being a first-time, you know, writer, I had no idea what to do. I didn't want it to be something that I had a manuscript and it just collected dust on my bookshelf, which I hear a lot of people have a story written, but they never knew what to do with it after that. So you could hire a publishing service. I went through E&L Publishing through DK Walker, and so that is a publisher service where they basically take your manuscript and they format it. And so they format it, they turn it into a beautiful cover, they figure out how to do the chapters for you, how to do everything. And then they upload it onto, you know, the Create Space and to make it link with Amazon and all those other avenues that you can market and purchase your book. So then you have a self-published book. So
There's all kinds of tools out there.
yes, there's so many.
And the individual you're talking about, they refer to themselves as a ghostwriter?
Yes.
Okay.
So she doesn't have to be. She just does publishing services, writing services in general. So she also is a writing coach. So if you kind of like are stuck in a way, like, what do I do now? She'll just help, mold it. If you're like, okay, how do I even write a book? She'll help coach you so you could write it yourself. So she wears a lot of hats.
Yeah.
She could be a ghostwriter or just officer services.
Yeah, I asked that because my understanding and from going down this path myself is, there's people that do different things. They can write the whole thing, they can edit, or just edit, they can fill in,
exactly.
you do the core part. You can basically have anything you want done.
And it kind of helps sometimes just having somebody lead you in the right direction when you're kind of like, great, what do I do now? So.
Yeah. So then there's making money from it. So
yeah.
then you have to promote it and all sorts of things. So how is that working?
So, when you write a book, you could write a book just for self-satisfaction and have it, sit on a bookshelf forever. Of course, writers would love to make money. Is it going to be something you're going to get rich on? Probably not. So I think people write a book with more of a passion just to share their story, not as like get rich quick kind of scheme. There's a lot of reaching out to, different avenues of where you can market your book and how to get your story out there. So can you make money? Yes. You have to be willing to put in the work, though, and it's a lot of work. You can't just publish it and think, great, it's out, it's going to make me $1 million. That'll never happen.
We're going to talk more about that. We got to take a break.
Okay.
We're talking with Leann Rhodes, upcoming author of Rise Up, Shine On, and we'll be right back.